Good afternoon. And today we have a pleasure of interviewing Karen Goldberg. She is my neighbor. She's in New Jersey and she is a nutritionist. Good afternoon, Karen.
Hi, Maria. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
And if you someone who has a trouble in the sleep department or sleep next to the snoring partner, this program is going to be for you because we're going to talk about important component of sleep, nutrition. And if you're a medical professional who, just like us, trying to put all small puzzles together to have an ideal or best health for the patients, this program is going to be for you. And I really appreciate our audience. So if you like this program, please stay with us on our channel. And we have a lot of tips and tricks how to improve your sleep, how, put all of it together, the sleep therapy, through the nutrition, through the exercise, through the facial development. And it's all part of my book, what I'm writing about sleep. So please stay on our channel and share with your family and friends. And my story with Karen, I actually learned about Karen Goldberg from my patient who need to have nutritional counseling together with the sleep therapy. And the patient was very passionate when she talked about meeting this new nutritionist who does the nutrition counseling or weight loss program in the shape of competition. And I thought, oh, that's my person. I want that to be fun. And then, I learned about Karen, and she has Nutrition One-on-One, and she has 2 apps, what she's going to introduce us to, what help you to develop a right eating habits. And she has a practice for many years, and she's active on the Facebook and social media, but I highly recommend you to visit her website, Nutrition 101, One-on-One. So my first question to you would be fun approach to nutrition. How do you bring fun in that element to nutrition education, and how does it impact your patient success to reach the goal of losing weight?
Well, I am in private practice, and most of my clients call me. They find me through, I take insurance. They find me through insurance, or they get referred by their doctor, or they find me online through their website. So they're coming to see me voluntarily. They want help already. So it's not like they're being dragged in. They're voluntarily coming themselves because they have an issue, whether it's weight loss or a medical condition. So they come in, and most of my people are coming for weight loss, and usually they have other issues going on. Most people who are overweight have other issues like sleep apnea and diabetes and cholesterol. So they want to be there because they don't want to go on medication. They want to solve their problems. So they want to be there. So they come to see me weekly or every other week. But, after a while, people get a little bit, tired of the same thing coming in. They get weighed, whatever. Some people really like some sort of goal, or they like something to strive for that helps them motivate them. There's a lot of people who are very competitive. So a weight loss challenge felt like the right thing to kind of mix things up and make it fun. So that's why I did it. And you get a cash reward. And I usually get 10 to 15 people who are very competitive. And they, every week I put out the results, and I have a Facebook page that everybody follows, a private page, and everyone seems to kind of really look forward to coming in and seeing me, which is nice.
Oh, I love that. And what you make it fun. And also you mentioned about insurance, because that's the obstacle for a lot of patients here. And, it's a rising cost of the healthcare, and how this whole thing happened with the insurance, because I heard when I recommend nutritionists to my patients, they would say, oh, it's not covered by insurance and I don't have money to afford it. Talk to us about that. How people make it what this service is covered? How do you work with insurance companies to help your patients?
Believe it or not, most insurances will cover nutrition counseling by a registered dietitian like myself. I am considered a healthcare provider, just like you are considered a healthcare provider and take insurance. Any of the doctors that you have interviewed, I am part of the network. I'm in network with many major insurances. People don't realize that.
Yes, that's not known knowledge. I was very happy when I found you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people don't realize, sometimes they're surprised. Usually it's just a copay, or some people don't even have copays because nutrition counseling is considered preventative, and a lot of people don't have copays for any service that's considered preventative.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about my practice. So a lot of patients come to me and they cannot live with a CPAP machine. They just don't like this treatment modality, or maybe they try and find it uncomfortable, so they need something else. They will refer to me and I start with oral appliance. But what I know for a fact, but oral appliance therapy is going to be very successful if you're staying in certain parameters. I'm talking about being overweight and obese, and to have a lot of tissue in this area, and your tongue retain the fat, your throat retain the fat, and it's make it very difficult for me to create the oral appliance what's going to control the apneic episodes. So I suggest them. I used to be a very young and stupid provider. What I would say, you need consider weight loss. Like, they don't know that. Everybody who needs the weight loss, they know, and they suffer with that. So now I don't say that way. I don't want to upset my patients. And I'm talking about, lifestyle, because usually, people have to have a desire to start. And what I learned, what a lot of people want to use a combination therapy called GLP1 drug. Now it's a new miracle. But if you considering that choice, you have to learn how to eat right. So it's much easier conversation. It's going to be something what's going to help you to like the right food, to like the good lifestyle. That was actually a help. So can you talk about GLP-1 medication, and how they use it for the weight loss, and how nutrition play the role, because this medication is not a unicorn and it's not a magic wand. You have to work to make it work. So can you talk about that combination therapy, what can help a lot of people not to be on a CPAP, really use oral appliance successfully, but you need to have something?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You are correct. These GLP-1 medications is not the magic potion or the unicorn, like you mentioned. Some people, they want to go on the GLP medications, or their doctor recommends them to be on it because their weight is just so, like, their comorbidities are just too much. They need to get the weight off. They need a jump start with the weight loss. So they get put on the GLP-1 medications, which basically slows the gastric emptying. It helps you stay full. But there is definitely a nutrition piece to it, because you are eating less, yes, and you are losing weight. But if you're not getting enough protein in, if you're not getting the right nutrients in, you're going to have other problems. And at some point, you're going to be taken off the medication. So you do need to learn how to eat properly, so you can either maintain the weight or lose more weight without the medication, because at some point you're going to go off. You cannot be on the medication forever. So I do have doctors that actually purposely refer their GLP-1 patients to me, because they're not going to be successful unless they have that nutrition, that piece, the lifestyle changes in place.
I love it. I think that's the right way. Like you told me before the interview, what they refer first to nutritionist before they prescribe GLP-1. And I don't know. Yes. I know you said it's, I think GLP-1, they have a little bit different mechanism. Like I was talking to one of the experts for my book, and he talked about Wegovy, but Wegovy had some side effects, and diarrhea. And for my listeners who are considering the medications, they don't all work the same. Like if Wegovy have a side effect, then you can use the Zepbound, and it might not be that way. And what I like, that my expert mentioned, he actually lost the craving towards the carbs. And he found a scientific article what explained that phenomena. And the second thing, craving towards the alcohol. So probably there are a lot of things for us to discover about, really the effect of the medications. But, those two are, positive changes. Did you see any kind of effect when people using GLP-1 drug and do the nutrition program? Do they require anything special, or you just lined up everything, for them, and they just follow the strict?
Well, basically, when they come in, they've usually just started on the medication, so they're not fully, their appetite is not, it goes down, but it's not there yet, because you get the dosage goes up as you go along. But I make sure I look at what they're already eating now. I put together a plan that's like very balanced, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. I tell them to eat their protein first, so they get that in before they start getting full. Then the vegetables, because if you're not getting the protein in, you're going to have other issues. You need a certain amount of fiber too in your diet, so I try to include all of that. A lot of people who are coming in that are taking the GLP medications, their diets are I've seen everything. They're all over the place, and a lot of people don't even know where to start. So I try to keep it very simple in the beginning. I look at what they're already doing, and I put together a plan with them, very balanced. And, they know that they have to do the work. If they want to be successful, they have to go shopping. They have to eat at home more often. Their spouses have to be supportive. There's a lot of things that we talk about that has to be addressed in order for someone to be successful.
I just want to bring specific knowledge to my audience. So you recommend to eat separate, to first eat protein, and then eat vegetables, and then eat fibers, right?
Yes. Protein and the vegetables are good because you need all the nutrients. Plus there's some fiber in the vegetables. So that's a good way of getting the fiber in. Then the whole grains. So because if you keep your starches on the lower side, that's what's going to help you lose weight. A higher protein is going to help you also with losing weight and keeping you full. You don't want to eat the grains first, because if you get full, you won't get the protein. Yes. So that's very, very important to do that. So yes, when they're on the weight loss medications, because their appetite decreases, and sometimes they don't even feel like eating, but they have to eat. You still have to eat.
Of course. And, like you mentioned that point, because a lot of people on those medications, they lose muscles. And to have muscles, you have to have protein. So that's the way, to keep, of course, you have to exercise in addition to the nutrition to maintain the mass index. But, how you eat also important. Then I'm going to ask you, you see, I have another person behind me. She's also on a weight loss program. I actually brought her to veterinarian, and we're losing 3 pounds extra. And it's not easy, and she doesn't like the decrease of portions. So she's here because she wants to listen to our program and learn all of it, because it's related to her.
Cute.
You want to add something? Because I have a next question.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that, like when people lose weight, if they're losing it very quickly, whether they're taking the medication or they get the weight loss surgery, if they're losing weight very, very quickly, there's a very good chance they're losing muscle. And you don't want that. Your metabolism will drop down. So, that's another reason why you need to get the protein in first. So I always tell people to eat that first on their plate.
That's a great advice. Now I'm going to ask you some personal questions. My close friend, who I really love, and she's full of life and energy. She was recently diagnosed with diabetes, and life become very difficult. It's unpleasant to have that diagnosis, but then you have to change your diet according to the blood sugar. She has a very stubborn sugar. She has such a difficult case. And reason why, I think, like a lot of people, she loved her food. And not she was eating not healthy, she was eating healthy, but certain food, you have that attachment to keep you happy. You have to eat certain food. You crave certain food. So what would be your recommendation for some real people with diabetes who have to control the blood sugar, but they love certain food?
Yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of people recently diagnosed with diabetes, they get very scared and nervous. They're not going to be able to eat the way they want to, or certain foods they love. When they come in, I make it clear there's really no food that's completely off limits. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a place for all the food. There's a place for it. We talk about moderation means different to different people. So when I talk about moderation, having, we talk about what foods they love and when the appropriate place to have them and when to have them and how many times a month, a year, they can have these types of foods. And honestly, I tell people once their blood sugar level and the diabetes normalizes, and sometimes people can lower their dosages, sometimes people can even get off their medications. Doesn't happen all the time, but they don't want to go back to eating that way. They develop new habits. It takes a while to make those changes, but once they see progress and once they see the weight starting to come off, I would say most of the people do not want to, they don't even think about eating, like they'll still eat their favorite foods, but maybe not as often, maybe not as much, maybe they'll modify a recipe. So it's a journey. It's over time.
It's a journey, yeah. Yes. But what if person love to eat bread? Well, what recommendation you make for them?
Well, you can still eat bread and have control your blood sugar. It's the amount of bread that you have. You have to watch how many, I tell a lot of people, well, you get 4 starches a day. You can eat 4 slices if you want to do those starches and 4 slices of bread, then that's all your starch for the day. And I do tell people to try to avoid refined carbohydrates like the white bread, white pasta, the white, try to do more whole grain, whole wheat, things that are high in fiber, because that's going to help you control your blood sugar. It's going to help you stay full longer. So, and they're going to feel better when you eat, when you eat things that are refined or, the white things with white flour, your blood sugar spikes very quickly. And then, you feel good. That's why people like bread. Mm-hmm. And then maybe about a half hour later, it drops and then you're hungry and then you want more bread or whatever.
Yes.
So when you're having foods that are high in fiber, you don't get the spike and the drop. It keeps your blood sugar level even, so you don't get those cravings. So once people kind of start getting into it and having an open mind and start, making some of those changes, whether it's in how much bread they have, what kind of bread they have. And, I tell people if you eat out once a week, even twice a week, if you eat out and you enjoy food, as long as it's just that one meal and you stop eating which is really hard to do, stop eating right when you feel full, take half home, you can still enjoy, what you're eating. It's like, you have to look at, that's why I have people keeping food journals, because they don't realize what else they are doing during the week.
Yeah.
What's, every little, a bite here, a bite there.
Yes.
It adds up. But if you're, pretty much sticking to a good, healthy plan, and then you eat out once or twice a week, you don't want to feel deprived, because that doesn't work either. But you do also have to make a commitment at the same
Of
time.
course. What, I have a lot of different opinion about nuts. What do you think about nuts, and what particular nuts you would recommend somebody on a weight loss journey?
Well, I love nuts. So, so nuts are great. They're healthy fat. They're high in, a lot of them are high in omega-3s and all that stuff that's supposed to be, that's healthy for you, and helpful with cholesterol. The thing with nuts is it's very calorie dense. So you can't eat a lot of them. You can't, it's not something that you can eat nonstop. You have to be mindful when you're eating nuts. Watch your serving size. It's not that big, the serving size, very calorie dense. Walnuts are high in omega-3s. All the nuts are very healthy. They're very filling. Brazil nuts are really good too. They're all really good, but my big thing is your portion control. I do have a sheet telling you how many nuts is a serving in their fats. Yeah.
So that's difficult. So tell me about emotional eating. What to do when people eat emotionally? And I have a lot of patients, they feel sad and then they eat.
Yes. All right. So the number one thing is, if you don't buy it and it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. So, I encourage people to shop with a list, or if they're shopping online, maybe that's easier so you don't get any of these impulse buys. Shop on a full stomach. Everybody knows to do that.
Oh.
Don't bring it into the house. Okay. Because if you don't have it, you're not going to eat it. Okay. So that, and I tell people, if you do crave something, like you want some ice cream, instead of bringing in a tub of ice cream into your house, go out, get ice cream, get like a cup of ice cream, eat it while you're out, and go home.
Nice.
So the emotional eating is hard. Like I do a lot of behavior modifications, like what you can do in place of the emotional eating, like different things that you can do to avoid that happening. Different things that might, an impulse that might make you, a feeling that might cause you to eat, what you can do instead, noticing those patterns, and keeping a food journal, Why did you eat? Why did you do what you did? Like look back and like, why did you eat that? What was going on that day? What was happening? Was it, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course. And now I want to touch last topic, and for a lot of people, it can be hot topic, weight loss for kids.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That could be very touchy. So I do see kids, and, it's their parents that are bringing them. Some of them are very responsive. Some of them are not really, like, why am I here and what's going on? But I try to make it, I don't really point out the child themselves. I do it like a family. It's, the family's eating healthy. I don't really talk about weight loss. I just talk about making healthier choices. I have them put together a shopping list, highlight different fruits and vegetables they might like, work with the parents to try to come up with like some recipes, things they can do together, shopping together. So I don't, no matter what size everybody is in the family, it's the whole family that's doing well and eating well. And a lot of these kids, they want, some of them play sports, and I tell them, well, if you want to be strong and you want to run fast, or, you want to be competitive, you have to eat well. There's dietitians on professional sports teams. Sometimes like things like that get them excited. So that's what I try to do.
I know that's so important. You put like a foundation for health.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Karen. And I highly recommend to my audience to find your website, Nutrition 101, Karen Goldberg, and please stay on our channel for a lot of practical advice. And just also mention you can find Karen on the Facebook and Instagram, and eat healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.